Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Sometimes in life, things don't go your way, and sometimes you have to sit down and eat humble pie, which is exactly what I am doing. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, welcome back to Vic Akers Wonderland. And guess what? We are going on a European tour, and more exclusively, we are bound for Lisbon. I'm joined, as always, by the wonderful person that was able to see it live in the flesh and soaking that lovely sunshine in the south of France, in Lyon. Lottie, how are you?
We're all going on a European tour. Yeah, I'm good. I got my tickets today. Well happy. So yeah.
I think we're all looking forward to that. And I think it was such a small opportunity that not many fans are going to have, which is a real shame. But Adam, you were able to watch this one as well? Not in Lyon, but
we were sort of suggesting, we were talking about, this is one of the few occasions where Lottie's done a European tour and I haven't. It's the turntables, you know, the roles have been reversed. The universal
1-0 Lottie.
1-0. Well, 1-0 will probably go with that one. But yeah, I watched it from. I was doing some work on nights, so I was sort of watching that. I think it was after my night shift. I was watching it, and yeah, I didn't see that coming. I think in a prediction, I predicted Lyon. You know, they had the lead, and we'll get into obviously how the game panned out, but just unbelievable. And then, you know, you have your celebration at full time. You think, what an amazing performance, amazing result, what it means to the club. And you think, I've got to go to Lisbon. I can't not go. And it's been quite painful to get all the pieces in position with with work, with costs of flights and accommodation and everything, getting all organised in the course of the day. We were recording this on the 1st of May. The tickets went on sale for season ticket holders and Home Advantage Pack members, and general sale will come out later. The rush to get those tickets, but it's all sorted. At least I hope it is. At least all the pieces in position, and we're off to Lisbon. And I think after that, whatever will be. But to get to a final, I've never been to a European final supporting Arsenal. I've been to European finals, but this is my first Arsenal European final, and I can't wait.
Ironically, it's my second. And we're playing the women's team for Barcelona. I'm ready for the trauma.
I could say, were you in Paris for 2006 for the men? Yes, it was always going to be Barcelona, wasn't it? It was always going to be Barcelona.
Yeah. So might as well have a set of matching traumas, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
On this, we should probably talk about that. There was roughly under 9,000 tickets given to Arsenal fans, and Barcelona managed to get just over 9,000, just under 10,000 in the end. So I don't know who was doing the maths that day, but if you think about both teams and how they travel, you would have thought they would have gotten a lot up over that 10,000 mark at the very least. It's on mute.
Right. Thing is, you need to remember, right, is that the general sale tickets were gone before the Arsenal-Barcelona tickets were announced. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised they've done that. But as you said, the math ain't mathing.
What we have to just add on that is, as much as we big ourselves up as Arsenal fans, and rightly so, and we've got one of the best fan bases that tour Europe and go to the games. I mean, I think it was 500, I think, was up in the stands.
530.
530, thank you, Lottie. 530 up in the stands in Lyon supporting the team, and well done to everybody who went, fantastic. But I've been to a European finals on the Barcelona side. They bring numbers. I would say And I hate to say that, I think in terms of the European travel special finals, they are bigger than Arsenal. I mean, obviously Arsenal have experience, but I would back up Barcelona to bring a bigger crowd than Arsenal. They are the biggest supported women's team on the continent, and they will bring the noise, they will bring the cheering, the chants, the atmosphere, and I think we can give them a good run from the other side of the stadium. What we can bring with our chants and our singing. I think this will be a fantastic atmosphere. I'm not surprised that Barcelona may have more tickets and so forth, and I don't mind about that. I think we've got a strong enough allocation for ourselves. It's not exactly Real Madrid away, but to put into some context, and I think it'll be a cracking atmosphere at the stadium.
I'm not suggesting that both teams should have had an even. It should have been that both teams should have had 10,000 at the very least in that allocation.
We'll make those numbers up, I'm pretty sure.
We'll wait and see what goes on. But in the meantime, we should probably talk about the game. I think, Lottie, you're probably in the best position to talk about what was going on before the game, how was there like a belief? Was there like a, usually when you go to these sort of games, there's like a feeling in the air that something.
Yeah, well, it all kind of kicked off with the Chelsea game, didn't it? We were all just celebrating in the pub beforehand, and I think we got a bit too merry because we got a police escort into the ground, which is bizarre because majority of us were female fans. Like, what are we going to do? Like the Lyon men played the day before rounds, and they were nowhere to be seen. Well, they're ultras anyway. They were nowhere to be seen. I just think it's a bit bizarre for them to kind of give us a police escort, but it wasn't the end of the world. The Lyon fans were fascinated. I don't normally do fan marches. It's not for me, but I was away from home. So I thought, why not? You won't catch me dead at a game at the Emirates. I like to do my own thing on match day at home. But I thought, we thought, well, do you know what? Why not? It's something we don't normally do. We're in a different country. It's a different match day. It's a massive day. Let's just do it. And the Lyon fans were absolutely fascinated as we sung all the way from the bar all the way around to our gate, which was R. And then smuggled in my flag, which was great. Most people
This is a famous flag. Let's not forget that.
The lucky flag. I've had it taken away from me at Chelsea twice, and we've lost twice. And it's the only time we've had it and we've lost. And I'm livid at that, and I'm convinced. Talk about superstitions, but anyway. It was just a great feeling all around. I mean, it was just nice to have new gooners around us. I met a few new ones. They're going to see them at games. I met someone who actually sits 2 rows behind us, boys, which is absolutely bizarre. I mean, I thought when we went over to Juventus away, meeting someone who was down the front of the block was mad. But I've got a better story for you. So we met an Australian girl. She sat next to me in the ground. She was telling me about her first game at the Emirates. And one of the first chants she heard was, "I'm blind, I'm deaf, I want to be a ref." Boys, which 2 people in our group sing that song?
You?
I get halfway through and I laugh. Yes, exactly. I mean, what are the chances of that? I mean,
being an Arsenal fan is a small world. It's a small world.
I think for me, it is more about the day out with the people, with the Arsenal fans. The game was the icing on the cake, but the general atmosphere, like we were all good. Like it was just, there was no problems. Had a few kids come and chanting through, and we all looked at them like, "What are you talking about?" Like, but yeah, no, it was good food, good atmosphere, and yeah, the Chelsea game was on. They were losing. Bon Mati strikes again.
That was I think that was the game I was nervous about. But the moment Bon Mati scored, I was like, "Yeah, we're fine."
Do you know what? For the last 4 times she's gone to the bridge, she's been player of the match. Yeah, name me another player who can do that. She's just she's out of this world. Get her in her Arsenal shirt.
Well, we can all dream.
Let me dream. I mean, we got Mariana, and I'm thankful every day to Barcelona for her.
Once that game got to 3-0, I could sort of relax into the afternoon, and I thought, well, whatever happens in the Lyon game coming up next, I can enjoy, because obviously that was just peak humour, Schadenfreude, whatever you call it. I've been wanting to see that sort of result for ages, and it was just, I was just worried about, what if the comeback happens, and then it didn't happen, and it was just brilliant.
Absolutely,
But then,
I for one agree.
yeah, well, I for one agree as well. I'd hate to be a Chelsea fan, but I don't think anybody could prepare me for the second act. That was what was to come.
It was really unbelievable, and I don't think anyone expected for it to happen as it did happen. 4 minutes on the clock, Arsenal get a corner, and Chloe Kelly decides to take the corner, and this is a really bizarre incident because it bouncing around. Enla goes to catch it or punch it. She completely misses it, deflects off Eguerola, and then who's headed it back to Enla, and it just goes off Enla's back and into the back of the net. Originally, with this goal, I thought it was off. There was a foul because Frida Marnham was being held by. Frida Marnham was holding on to Eguerola, but the goal was actually awarded. Lottie, from where you were saying.
Do you know what? I was down the other end where my view was. I was square on to Caitlin Ford's goal. So everything down the other end, I was like a minute 30 seconds, 45 seconds delayed. This one, all I saw was bodies. I was like, where's the ball gone? And then all of a sudden the girls are celebrating and then we all erupt. So I didn't know what was going on. We were all standing up going, what? Where's the ball? And eventually it came out the net, and then it was just because I'm the furthest block away from that goal. I didn't see anything. And you look back at the highlights of that goal, and it's like a game of pinball. All of a sudden it goes in the net. That's it. Game on.
Yeah, it was. I was lucky because I was watching. I'd say lucky. I wish I'd been in there, but I had the vantage point of the stream, so I could get all the highlights. And it's so defensively bad. I mean, we all remember this is the same goalkeeper who conceded a penalty for punching Lera in the face in the home leg. Under the high ball, she was a bit suspect, and this adds into it. But it's one of those moments because the build up to that corner, Lyon have a cheap giveaway outside the box, and Arsenal work it very well, very quickly, and it ends with the Kim little shot that gets saved. And at that moment, I was like, that was a really good shot. We need that early goal. We need the early goal. It's not like we've got a 3-goal deficit to make up here. There is time, but I'd like to just get the first goal in and wipe out the deficit. The corner comes in, and the moment the keeper misses it, it's on. I mean, that the keeper has to either stays at home or has to claim it. She gets caught under the high ball, and then it's just absolute carnage. And it's luck. Okay, let's be fair. The delivery from Chloe Kelly is superb. It creates the chaos, but the manner in which it goes in is lucky. We have to hold our hands up. But I'll take it. And considering, we got a bit unlucky in the first leg. Some of the chances we didn't get, there were some good saves, etc. And we got stung with a sucker punch. At that moment, I think, right, it's on. Because we've started really well. Lyon haven't started. We've started the better side, and we've got the early nudge. And all of a sudden, all bets, fear, thinking something could happen here. I'm still expecting Lyon to, come back because they're Lyon. But 1-0, saying, oh, this could happen potentially.
There are moments in that game where things have happened, and it was very questionable. I think throughout the tie that there were times when, but did you think, Adam, that it was going to be a foul because of Frida Marnham?
No, I didn't think it was a foul. No, I didn't think it was a foul. I would never thought. The funniest thing was the fact that the stadium announcer thought that Russo had scored, which caused a bit of confusion because Russo was nowhere near. And I'm thinking, now this is an own goal, but it's just one of those ones when the ball goes in and it trickles in. And obviously you're related because I didn't. It's come out of nowhere, but I think something's gone wrong, badly wrong. And you look at the replay, and it's completely comedic, and it's not a foul. And I had no fear it was a foul. It was just thought it's just a goal, and we're up and running. And it's just think, well, what's going to happen next?
Well, it was a very chaotic half. There were opportunities left, right, and centre. But the second goal, these sort of goals is what I really like to see because it is pure, total football. And it's small little 1-2 passes. Kim Little, Alessia Russo, Mariona Caldente eventually passing. Mariona then finds some wriggle room, and she's able to have that shot and it goes into the net. It's a rocket and a half, and it was fantastic. Oh no, my signal.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right. So the second goal, Mariona Caldente with a rocket from the edge of the box.
Yeah.
It was a nice little workroom, fantastic coordination all round, and total football really.
Yeah.
Sort of goal, and I really enjoyed that. I think it was even nominated for goal of the round as well.
Yes, yeah,
Lottie,
I think it won goal of the round actually, because it was that one. I think it was Pina in the Chelsea game had that goal in off the post, and they were sort of debating between the two. But I think Mariona's won out.
That's fair enough. Lottie, just being there to witness.
Do you know what? Mariona is that player, and she the fact that we got her for free. Sorry, the fact that we got her for free is unbloody believable. And Chelsea paid £1 million for Kira Walsh, who's been invisible. I think we're on the win side of that deal. Do you know what? I've watched it from my seat. I actually watched it go in, and when you're looking down at the pitch from the angle we are, you can already see Katie McCabe's got her arms up. That's going in, and I've actually seen a photo on the socials with it, and I'm like, Katie knew. But the thing is, it's in these massive games, in these with these big moments, this is where Mariona shines. And I think I got a question for you both. I'm probably going to get my head chopped off for this. But do we thank Jonas for selling Viv now?
Well, I think we should say just the caveat. Because I did wonder, is the Viv discourse going to rear its head? Is Lottie dare go into the depths of that pit and drag it back out again?
I'm dipping my toe in it.
Yeah. Well, first the caveat: we didn't actually sell Viv as much as we can celebrate Mariona coming on.
Well, we let her go for free then. Sorry,
it's a free both ways. I think it was.
It was last summer. Cut me some slack.
As much, I don't want to drag this discourse back up again. I think they are two different players. I personally felt Viv had a great journey at Arsenal, and this was the right time to depart. And I was very excited with Mariona coming in. I know people who know Mariona and were telling me she's an amazing player. You are so lucky to have her. Just watch. I think the flaw with Jonas was actually not being able to get the best out of Mariona. Admittedly, he didn't have many games with her, but I think she only got like one goal. He didn't when under the Jonas.
I really don't think he got the best out of Viv in the first place.
Maybe not. I think he struggles with it. I've had this discussion with people. I think he struggles with creativity because he likes players to be in specific positions, to do specific roles as part of the structure, and then he would want the players to go where he wants them to go. But the players have that individual creativity that goes against sort of the structure because it's something you can't control. But you need that spontaneousness. Sometimes
you
in games.
Say that, Adam, though. But Beth Mead did have a fairly good couple of seasons.
Beth Mead thrives in that position of what she is, which is hard running, hard fast and shoot and high press. But she's not a creative playmaker, and I think that's maybe
that. But Crots and the amount of crosses she puts in the ball.
But that's just, I'm talking about in the centre of the park. She's a wide player winger crossing. I'm talking about in the middle. And Mariona offers that, and Rene has found a way of getting that out of Mariona. So whilst, hats off to Jonas, made the right decision, brought Mariona in, but also with Russo, he wasn't the manager for that player, and Rene is. And Rene, just as with Russo, is getting brilliant stuff out of Mariona. So fair play on that front. I would add on the goal. It's just before half time, which is always a brilliant time to score. I love her right on the cusp because it always feels like you've mugged the opposition off just before they can get in for the halftime oranges, and it's a good play. But I think the half, there was a few half moments, there's a few scares on the Lyon end, but I never felt that we were under extreme pressure. I don't think they had really had a shot on target up to that point. It just felt like we were in control, and I didn't feel that in the first leg. In the first leg, I thought Lyon had really good chances. They hit the bar, they got the goal. There was a few stronger scares, but I felt in this half we were the ones in control, and I just felt we need that goal. I think Roos had a header that just gone wide. Mariona actually had a sighter early on. She hit it over the bar, and it get to this moment, and it's good passing all around the box. I think someone take a shot. Now Mariona has no right to shoot from this position because there are about 1,000 players all stood around her. How she picks out the shot, gets the curl into the top corner, because all she also say it's keeper's side. The keeper is over that end, but because the keeper's so unsighted, they can't react. Top bins. I'm in my hotel room shouting very loudly, then no way. And or at that point, thinking, well, hang on, we're ahead in the time. We've actually turned this around. We're actually like, crikey. At that point, I'm thinking, just get to the break at 2-0. And there was a bit of a scare just before half time. I think they had one chance at header, which was thankfully straight to Daphne, and we got to the bell at 2-0. But I was thinking, but this is ridiculous. Lyon have been really poor. I know they made some changes. They brought Adia Hegerberg in. I think dropped DVD to the
Wendy Renard was back.
Wendy Renard was back. They put Daniel van der Donk on the bench. I think they put one of their fast, pacey forwards into midfield. I think Joe got the team selection very badly wrong. I can understand bringing Hegerberg in, but the Lyon team, if you think in that first leg, they were so fast. They were so fast and energetic and exploiting us, and they were slow. They were really slow, and we were much snappier in the tackle. I thought, we had Kelly in this time round, and she was giving us a lot on the flanks, as was Ford, and it just felt that we had got the team selection right. And Joe, I could understand why Joe Montemurro went for some of his picks, but it tactically didn't work. And thankfully, we took advantage of it, and we were ruthless. I mean, that's what we weren't in the first leg. We had the chances. We missed good chances, but we took chances, arguably harder chances this time around. I would love to see the XG of that Mariona goal. But to get it to 2-0 at half time, and I'm suddenly thinking, right, we're 45 minutes away from Lisbon. And I can't believe it, because I'm expecting this Lyon team to play as they did in the first leg and be amazing, and they're not. And we're playing better than them at their ground for the second time in a row, it should be said. And so I'm thinking, right, 45 minutes, and I don't know what's going to happen, because it's just gone against everything all the scenarios in my head, thinking, how is it going to play out? And this is not on the cards. So yeah, at half time, I was happy, but also confused.
Well, this was where you look at half time. Adam, you've already mentioned how you felt going into that half time. I was very surprised how the team had done.
Which team, Lyon or Arsenal?
Arsenal. I was surprised at how they'd come out of the blocks and they'd managed to get that second goal, that very important second goal. I think that was the killer punch, because I think if Lyon had gone in and it was still 2-2 in the tie, they would have thought, right, got 45 minutes, all we need to do, get a goal. Lottie, in the ground, what was the feeling amongst supporters?
Yeah, it was. We were just all buzzing. Like it's couldn't believe it was happening, and there was a lot of people already at halftime booking flights and hotels. Like, we're convinced they were going to Lisbon, and it did. Don't you laugh? But I know someone who did it in the 17th minute. You laugh, but I know someone who did it in the 17th minute.
I would say fair play to them, because they're absolutely right. Because obviously, jumping ahead a bit, but considering the prices of the hotels and the prices of planes and
but this was before everyone jumped on it.
I know,
like,
but
if you start booking everything, like just after you bought your tickets this afternoon, cheap as chips. Sorry, but yeah, no, it was
ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. It was a bit strange being able to have a pint in the stands, and we were just all sitting there enjoying as I was chatting. Adam, do you remember Jazz from Italy?
Vaguely.
She was 5 rows behind us. What are the chances of that?
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. It was just a really nice day out. It was just a really good vibe in the stands. And as soon as they came back out, I'm sitting there chewing my nails, like, oh my god, here we go.
I mean, did you think they'd go through at that point? 45 minutes to go. Were you confident, or were you?
I know what Lyon have got in the locker, and I was sitting there thinking they're going to punish us now, and they didn't. So, which really surprised me and also kind of disappointed me, because it was like, okay, game on. I mean, they pulled one back, but that was it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, just on that, 20 seconds after restart. Let's talk about that.
Reset time.
Yes, it's a weird stat, actually. That's the second time she's scored within the first minute of the restart.
Yeah.
And again, this is very unusual of Lyon. Russo's through ball finds Caitlin Ford, but Lyon failed. It was just very chaotic altogether, because there was a through ball, it goes to Caitlin Ford, but Caitlin Ford, the tackle comes in past Caitlin Ford, she still falls over, and she still manages to get the pass on to Alessia Russo, who's got basically enough time to, if she wanted to, she could have probably gone to get a hot dog and still have enough time to have the shot. That's how it felt like, because there was so much space. It was just, I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, it was fantastic from Caitlin Ford to jump on the loose ball into the path of Freedom Arnhem, and then but again, a little bit of opportunities where there's a deflection that sees Alessia Russo through on goal and just put it past Enla 3-0, and 2 goals in front on aggregate. Lottie, you were there.
Yep, I lost my phone, I lost my flag, and I lost my sunglasses, but I did get them all back because Arsenal fans are brilliant. It was just watching it go in and the ball ping about. It was just like, come on, yes, guy, you're sitting on the edge of your seat. Although like the stands, you can stand up in the stands, and there was a lot of up and down all the time. But at that point, I was just sitting on the top of my seat and just watching it ping about. And it's just, and then it goes in the net, and just everything goes. And you just knew that for me, that was the moment where I knew we were going to Lisbon.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go on, Adam.
No, go on. Okay.
So that was the moment I knew we were going to Lisbon, and I knew I had to have tickets to that game. I love Sporting's ground is beautiful. It's a nice little ground for a final. So I was like, yeah, I'm going back there again. Done it with the boys. Now it's time to do it with girls.
Were you booking the flights at that moment when the third goal went in?
I didn't book my flights till today. I waited for the flight to go down. I'm not silly. Bearing in mind, tonight is Thursday night, ladies and gents.
You were saying, Matt, about the killer blow. This, for me, is the killer blow because it's the halftime sandwich. I actually clocked it. Both goals were scored at the same time. They're both scored on 45 minutes, 26 seconds. Obviously, because of the way the time works, injury time works. It's a defensive mess, and it's really bizarre considering that you have brought. We all feared, Wendy Renard's back, so the defense is going to be watertight because Wendy Renard is a legendary defender, and won countless Champions Leagues with Lyon, an absolute warrior. Tall as a giraffe, brilliant head of the ball. She actually scored the goal when we last played there. It was a bundling in from a corner. So it's, seeing Wendy Renard back, you're thinking, right, okay, all flights, all long balls into the box, high balls, crosses, they're all going to be headed away. Good. She's going to, head everything clear. But this is an absolute shambles. And whatever Joe Montemurro said at halftime clearly didn't work. It's a ball over top from Steph Catley. And what we see from Russo's strength is hold up play. She wins, she outmuscles defenders. She wins that ball in the air. She not only wins it, she controls it, and she keeps the ball and passes it on. And it's with fingers of Frida and Ford, it's absolute carnage. And suddenly Russo's running in oceans of space. I'm thinking, no, surely this is impossible. This is like, no, you can't do this. And then she scores. And I'm thinking, right, I give up. This
How
can't
can you
happen.
give up?
No, but not give up. I was like, I
It's
give
one
up
of
on
the
all.
greatest games of the season.
No, I know, but that's the point. It's like I gave up on everything I know. Like everything, like logic and reason have just flown out the window, along with Lyon's hopes of winning the Champions League.
Like, as much as I respect Wendy Renard, I know she's in trouble when I see Caitlin Ford running at her. I'm sorry.
So at that moment, I'm waiting for there's going to be a VAR, there's going to be a foul. Russo maybe was ahead of the play. There's going to be an offside because that just you look at the goal and it looks so wrong because so many wrong things happen. And this is Lyon, this is Lyon. They don't do this. They didn't do this at Emirates Stadium.
They've won it 8 times.
Yeah,
they've won it 8 times, and it's just bizarre.
They weren't this I wish they were this shambolic at Emirates Stadium because then I would have had some more goals to celebrate apart from the Mariona penalty. I was fuming. So then, it goes on anyway, and the commentators say, yep, green light, goal given, Arsenal 3-0 up. And thinking, we're 3-0 up in Lyon again. I mean, this is like I can understand the first time round because this is another thing. The first time round, we won 5-1, and it was amazing. It was great, and I was surprised. But there was the caveat of, they were players, they had an injury crisis. Lyon didn't have all their best players, so they were kind of playing like a half-strength team. And, we were kind of in a good shape at the time. This was the first time I played Fried as a 10, and it was great. Mia got a free kick. Ford scored a worldie. All over fine, but this time around, this is Lyon, full strength Lyon. You've got Ada Hegerberg, leading the line. You've got, the Ender in goal, Renard in defence. Most of the team is still mostly the same from the first leg, and I thought in the first leg they played a lot better than us. In fact, I think the big regret is in that first half they could have scored more than one goal, and I don't think they could have really gone for us in that first leg, and they didn't. And I think that is crucial. I think when they hit the bar, I think there was some chance at 2-1 when they could have gone for 3-1, and I think they almost held back a bit. And I think I'm not complaining, but I think that's a major error by them. But yeah, 3-0 at 46 minutes, and just thinking, well, is it another 5-1? Are we going to get 5 goals again? I mean, there's plenty of time. It just it's just the moment where I don't want to jump too far ahead, but it was almost the reverse emotion from another game that's happened recently against Aston Villa, when it's like I'm watching the game thinking this is impossible, obviously for different reasons. But this Lyon game is that this is impossible. You don't go away to Lyon and win 3-0. It's a tight game. It's a 1-0. But it did. And at that point, thinking, right, what's going to happen? Is it going to snow? Is it going to snow in April? Are pestilence and plague? What else is going to happen in this game? Because I've lost all sense of meaning, of logic. Just go for it.
And picking up on a similar theme, it feels very much like another shot in the foot, because 62 minutes on the clock. Enla plays a nice short ball. Nothing wrong with this. You're playing a short ball to your centre back, Gies, who has the unfortunate timing to slip, and who's waiting to pounce? The waiting Caitlin Ford, and she just goes, "Thank you very much for slipping over." And she free shot a goal. She blasted it past Enla for 4-0. Now, it's a nice mistake. Bear in mind that there has been a game on there the other day. You can see it during the warm-up that the pitch isn't crystal clear as it usually is at the Emirates. Do you think that was a factor, Lottie?
No, it's not an excuse.
I'm not trying
it's
to give it as
absolutely not an excuse. No, I'm not saying it. It could be a factor depending on how bad it was, but you got to remember I was like on the second upper tier, like maybe about quarter of the way up the stand. So that grass, from my point of view, looked absolutely fine. So I don't think it's a factor for me personally, because even on the highlights, I didn't actually look at the grass. I just looked at how awful and defensively weak they were. And the thing is, you look at their back line, you look at the names on that list, and it's overall disappointing in the performance. I just don't know. It was a great goal. I mean, Caitlin was straight over celebrating with us, and the person that had the drum that was downstairs and the megaphone just went completely silent. Like, you watch some of the footage back, and all you can hear is the Arsenal fans. You cannot hear the 19,500 Lyon fans that were there. But I think the best part of this is the lower tier opposite us. A load of Arsenal shirts appeared as people down the front raving their Arsenal shirts, and there was they just all popped up in the stand opposite. And I after we celebrating the goal, they're still jumping around waving their Arsenal shirts. I was like, you look like you're brave sitting down in the Lyon and having your Arsenal shirts with you. I tell you, but yeah, no, it was just incredible. That was it. We were off within a few minutes. You had you Tottenham in disguise 2-1, and you it up. You can put the blank word in, guys. And it was just erupted, because we knew we'd sealed the deal basically.
That was it. I'm annoyed because I missed this goal. So I know I missed it, because what happened was I was watching this on my MacBook in my hotel room, and I noticed, my battery's going a bit here, and it's not going to last the game. So I thought, I'll go and get my laptop charger. So I went over to my suitcase, went to get that, and then suddenly I heard a commentary. I heard the going ballistic. And I'm thinking, what's happened? And I've gone back to the charger, and Ford's running away. He's spinning a hand. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Because the ball had gone out for a goal kick. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll get my charger. Fuming. Again, this it always happens to me. This is a goal that doesn't happen unless you're 3-0 down, because at this point, the team concentration is shot to pieces. They had footage in the stands. The players on the bench were absolutely stunned, because I've said it again and again. This doesn't happen to Lyon. I mean, Lyon were unbeaten this season. They'd won every game in the Champions League. I think there was one game they'd lost, but it was on penalties, I think. It was a cup game. But everything else has been... And this is Joe Montemurro. Everything else has been brilliant. It's been winning. It's all unbeaten. And then the things like that happen, that the defender not got the concentration, has moved and moved wrong and mistimed it and lost her footing, and Ford, bam, straight in. Just say it's the second game in a row at Lyon where Ford has capitalised on defensive mishap and scored. If you think about her second goal, that always does the rounds on the VT on Emirates Stadium match day, the curler into the bottom corner. So watch out for that again. It's just like this again. This is impossible. Lyon don't make these mistakes, and yet they are making these mistakes. And I think this is down to, again, Arsenal, the way they've played, because throughout the game, lots of misplaced passes out the defence of Lyon, very, very sloppy from them, and crucially, we were taking advantage of it. We weren't, being safe and playing it back a little bit. We were front-footed. We were capitalising on the mistakes. We were taking advantage of the errors. I'm just twisting the knife further and further, and you get to 4-0, and that would have been, I think it was that point, 5-2 on aggregate at that point? At that point, looking at the clock, I think it's about 30 minutes to go. So we're automatically thinking, right, if Lyon are going to save this game, it's one goal every 10 minutes, and just watching that clock.
It was just squeaky bum time for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy that you are winning 5 at the moment, obviously 5-2 away in Lyon. You should be, any other game, if that had been, I don't know, say it was Valerenga or something. If we were 5-2 in aggregate Valerenga, I'd be, feet up, let's crack open the Diet Coke and just relax. But I'm waiting for this big Lyon, remontada, whatever they call it. The big response. It's suddenly it's gonna click, and suddenly it's all hands to pump.
Exactly. You're just waiting for it because of the talent they've got in the locker.
Yeah, and it
just didn't click.
No. Nothing. It's just like, you guys, you are 3 goals away. You're 3 goals behind in this game. Where's the Lyon that beat Barcelona in the final 2 seasons ago? Admittedly under a different manager.
They don't have Lucy Bronze anymore.
They don't have Lucy
and she's
Bronze.
Not on either side of the final for once.
Yeah, both Sonia and Lucy are losing 8-2 to Barcelona in London on aggregate. I'm waiting for this response from Lyon, and it's not coming. And I just think, I was very surprised when Joe Montemurro became manager of Lyon, because obviously being Arsenal, obviously being at Juventus, and I like Joe. I think he's a really nice guy, and he's a decent manager. But I just also know that in the big games he crumbles. He did it time and time again at Arsenal. We lost multiple cup finals to Chelsea. We lost 4-1, another 4-1. We lost 4-1 at home in the league to Chelsea. We lost to Man City. We were losing. I remember the last season we had under Joe, the team was crumbling, and for me as a manager, he is very much a surface team. He is very much plays really nice attacking football, really good, and scores lots of goals. But if you break through that surface, as Arsenal did, there's nothing there. And credit to Rene, credit to Arsenal, they broke through that surface as all the big teams do when Joe comes up against them, and they just fell apart. And they made really basic errors. I mean, I refer back to the own goal. The own goal, the situation comes from the defender passing the ball. I think it's straight to Ford in their own half. And you think, okay, maybe it's a one-off. They're not in the game. But it kept happening. It kept happening again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then we get this error with leads to Ford's goal. And it was just the mistakes. I can understand if it was a team in the bottom team in the group stage. I mean, like Valerenga were, but this is Lyon in a Champions League semi-final. You do not make these mistakes. Or let's say if it's Chelsea versus Barcelona, but that's another matter. I promise that'll be the last time I bring them up. I promise. And at that moment, you think, yeah, they're gone. The mentality is shot. The focus is shot. They don't believe. And I think that comes down to it. I think Arsenal broke their belief. I think they broke the back of that Lyon team. They broke their belief. They did not believe that they were going to come back, despite having the players and the talent and the capability of doing so. And it was, I'd say, I was joyful. It was calm until obviously the last 10 minutes, which we get to. But it was sort of quite sad, really, because seeing a team sort of wilt into this state. It was like, is this the end of an era for Lyon? I mean, that's the bigger question.
You do raise that point, and I don't know if Lottie's already shaking her head to say that. But
it's Lyon.
This is where you think back. If you think about a lot of those players that were on that pitch to begin with, a lot of them are in their 30s. That's nothing against them. Nothing. Sometimes it's like I think the best analogy that I can bring is that the Liverpool men's team, I think it was 70s and 80s, they were dominant, but as soon as they got to the 30s, they were in the 30s. Because they'd been a team for that amount of time, other teams were picking apart and it happens. And this is why you have to have that balance of youth and experience. You can't just be like putting it all in one place in experience. If you look at Lyon's front three, it is a very young front three, and that would probably serve them if it carries on. If they can carry on and keep hold of these players, that's probably a front line that could probably last them for the next five to however long years. But then you look at the midfield of Daniel van der Donk, who's over 30, Egarola's over 30, Masri is over 30. I think there's one or two in there that are under the sort of young talents, but they're not the first teamers. And and you look at that back line as well. I think the only one that is fairly young, well, two of them actually, is the wing. That's the fullbacks of Ellie Carpenter and is it Selma Bakker?
Selma Bakker,
yeah.
So already you're looking at, so essentially your spine of the central midfield and the defence is where you're struggling, because you've got. I think the best way to do it is balance. So having like how sometimes it's Leah and Lotta at the back, or it's Leah and Rafaela in the previous seasons, experience, and then someone that can build towards it.
I'll just agree on that. This is why I go back to the team selection and the way Joe changed the team from the first leg. I think he should have stuck with that team. I think he should have stuck with the team that won at Arsenal, because that team were exploiting Arsenal's weaknesses. They were catching the team on transition, but he went for the experience. He went for Ada Hegabo. I think Ada Hegabo, I think, is actually 29. She just feels like she's been here forever, because she's started so young. And the likes of bringing Wendy Renard back in, but the team that played against us in the first leg got the job done in the first leg. And as much as I was, again, classic case of me being maybe intimidated by the name, I'm thinking, oh goodness, we've got Ada Hegabo to deal with. She's great. We've got Wendy Renard, she's great. But it made them weaker, and I think it's down to that. It's down to the age and experience, the reduction of pace, the pace that was so devastating against us. He slowed that team down, and I think you saw that as the game played out. We were faster and stronger, with the likes of Chloe Kelly and Caitlin Ford on the wings, and Russo leave the line, and Mariona in the pivot alongside. And we haven't mentioned a name, and it's criminal that we haven't. Kim Little, everyone. Which is kind of like the whole exception proves the rule, because Kim Little's the oldest of all of them.
I was sitting there. And I was waiting for him to mention Kim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're looking at our Champions League all-time top goal scorer. She's done 38, if I remember off the top of my head.
She's going to be the joint record holder as well.
At Arsenal, she's got 38.
Yeah, she'll be the joint record holder as well for appearances in the Champions League for Arsenal.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is, I don't know what it is. I feel like I haven't used the Noel Maritz effect in a while, and I just feel like it's that she's just a different player when it comes to the Champions League. Like it's like compared to I'm gonna Noel Maritz in the league was all right, but Champions League, it brought a different side out to her, and I think that's what Kimmy's got at the moment, and I'm all here for it.
I think with Kim also, I think Arsenal did a lot of really sensible stuff sort of mid-season, and that was they basically almost like mortgaged Kim Little. They took her out of the starting lineup, and they saved her minutes, and just basically put her minutes in a savings account and let them accrue, and then go, right, okay, we're going to unleash you at the tail end of the season, and that's when we're going to hit, and it's boom, Real Madrid, boom, at home, and Lyon away at Lyon as well. I mean, it was just, it's again, it's one of those classic things with Kim Little, is you really underestimate sometimes just how good she is, and she's not going to be scoring 40 goals a season anymore. She's not that player. In fact, there are a few moments where she was in a shooting position.
When was the last time she had an open goal from open play? I don't even remember. She almost had it during the first half.
No, it's not Chelsea. No, because that was an own goal.
I still say it's Chelsea. It doesn't matter if it was an own goal. It's going on target. It's
Factually, 2022 at home, opening game of season against Brighton. That is officially her last opening goal. She only scored one goal.
That's the last time we saw an open goal from Kimmy, apart from a penalty. Yeah. And she was so close.
I know.
She's banging on the door for it. And I will be absolutely thrilled for her if she gets that in Lisbon.
Yeah. She
out of all of them deserves it.
She had a chance in the second half, and I thought she was going to take the shot, and she'd pass it over. And I just don't think it's not in her game anymore to take those shots. I mean, she's only got one goal this season. It was a penalty against Rangers right at the start of the campaign. But no, she's evolved, and as she's gone backwards into the midfield pivot, and her and Mariona just ran the show. Mariona's obviously giving us the goals and the creativity, but just the way she had just controlled away at Lyon and just controlled proceedings using all her experience. And I think it goes back to what you were saying, Matt, is about the balance between youth and experience. Is that age and fitness all matters and so forth, but it shouldn't be experience should be dismissed out of hand. It has its worth. I think it's just a lot about Kim Little is that she maybe can't play 90 minutes, but she does have the fitness to be able to match what's on the pitch despite her age. I think that's down to her and all the training she does and the work she does. Eventually, that age curve, that age ceiling, she is going to hit it, and I think it's going to happen soon. It's going to be very sad that it does. But at this moment in time, she is still able to run a midfield away at Lyon, and I think that's absolutely incredible. And fair play to her. That was again a key reason why we got where we were, and I think it's an amazing moment for her as the captain. She came in 2008, the year after we won the European Cup. She's left, she's come back, she's been through us for the good times and quite a lot of bad times as well. And I think if anybody deserves at the tail end of her career just one chance as a captain to lead Arsenal out into a Champions League final, it's Kim Little.
You've made that the point about Kim as well, and let's not forget as well, there's been moments where there have been some questions over Kim Little, but at the end of the day, she's captain for a reason. The players had her back in the press conference. Leah Williamson actually in the mix zone afterwards, mentioning that the one person we wanted it to do it for was Kim. So it tells you everything. I think we'll go on to the last goal of the game. 81 minutes on the clock. This is just Arsenal failing to clear their lines, and Dumornay has a shot and it's gone past Brandon Salah. Pretty poor defending, really.
Absolutely atrocious. It's just not. You look at it and you think, okay, they've scored one back. I spent the next 10 minutes regretting not singing to them, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" I sat there and I thought, all right, here comes my humble pie. Ready for another mouthful of it. Not very nice tasting. The apples are sour. But yeah, I spent that plus injury time absolutely cacking myself, thinking the comeback was on.
This is the thing. I think if this goal happens 10 minutes earlier, it doesn't, thankfully. But there was a moment just before then. Frida has the ball on the halfway line, and Stina's raring to go. And if Frida gets that past it, I'm not saying she will score, but Stina would have a clear 1v1 from the halfway line, and doesn't. And the ball gets played around a bit. And we should say to Lyon, whilst they weren't really a threat, they were getting more and more of the possession. I think Arsenal at that point were sort of thinking, have what we hold. We're 4-0 up away at Lyon. We don't need to go chasing more and more goals and pushing it forward. Players forward. We can just sit deep and just try and ride this out. And yeah, the cross comes in. It's not defended well. And I can sort of have a bit of sympathy because at this point, mental fatigue's kicking in. You're at the tail end of the game. You're not say hanging on, but it's Lyon have thrown players on, and it's it's a good finish. They capitalised on the loose ball and scores it, and you just think, this is just going to make the next 10 minutes really uncomfortable.
She had another shot during the game as well beforehand, and it hits Katie square on the head.
Yeah, it clears off the line.
I was literally waiting for her to go down with concussion the way it hit her square on.
It was,
it's a really great shot. Well done, Katie. As a wing back myself, it's about being in the right place at the right time, and that's where Katie was.
Body on the line, getting the body on the line, and crowded budgie box, but crucially got the block in. But 4-1, it is annoying. Clean sheet's gone, and you're just thinking, right, we've just got a bunker in here. Throw Lotta on, throw all the defenders on, take the forwards off, and just go, back 5, back 6. You've just got 10 minutes of just holding this game out. And I mean, I think Lyon had, one chance. I think there was one chance, and there was a header at the near post. Daphne came for a cross and was nowhere near and headed wide. and then once you hit the 19, it's a bit of injury time, but you're just thinking at that point, looking at the clock and thinking they just don't have the time. It doesn't matter. They could score 2 goals. They could score 1 goal. They could score 2 goals. It still won't be enough. It's 5-2 at the moment. And even if they get 3 goals, it's only extra time. Arsenal are in the just time is the enemy here. And then there was one moment right at the very end, just to sort of finish off, which there was a penalty shout. And VAR were looking at it, and it was all a bit Hermscombe, but thinking it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it's given or it doesn't given, and then there's a reason why it's not on the highlights. Because if Beth Mee's arm is there, she pulls it away. Does it brush it? Does it not? It was on the 95th minute. It made no difference whatsoever. At that point, it's like I can enjoy this game because it's just going to play out, and it did play out. Penalty wasn't given. I was thinking, darn it, I've got to book tickets for Lisbon. I had all my plans, like work and everything. I'm thinking because we're not going to go to Lisbon. Lyon, it's going to be a Lyon-Barcelona final, just as it was last season. There's not a hell's chance we're going to Lyon. We've lost the first leg. We'll give it a good go, but Lyon will knock us out. And then I've got my, plans for that weekend. And suddenly it's like, I've got to change everything, my entire calendar. I've got to get my, get my credit card out.
That sounds like such an inconvenience.
It's such.
Some of us booked our accommodation as soon as we got down to the pub.
It's inconvenient like you wouldn't believe. It's like I've got to tear up everything that I planned for the end of the month, and I've got to throw the kitchen sink at getting to Lisbon, because if I miss this, I will regret it for the rest of my life. And thankfully, like the Arsenal, I'm on my way to Lisbon, and I can't wait.
It's all right for some people, isn't it? Unfortunately, I'm going to be stuck here even after trying and trying. But I'm hoping that there is going to be a viewing at the Emirates Stadium. For those that don't know, the FA Cup game in 2014, Arsenal versus Hull City, Arsenal held for the very first time a live screening of the game, and it was a very, very good experience for me, because just being there, and because we couldn't go to Wembley, it meant I was around Arsenal fans, I could enjoy myself, and it was just a really nice experience, and I really hope the club do it again. It will be a huge occasion as well, because this is a first Champions League final for 18 years. I'm going to get that right.
Well, so technically, it's the first ever. Just on the pedantic front, it's our first ever Champions League final, because the previous one was actually called the UEFA Women's Cup. We'll just get that clarification in. But it's our second.
Either way,
ever
we should have a start. We should have a 1 on our badges.
Well, we
shouldn't have a 0.
We should have acknowledgement of 2007. That is a major moment in history, and the fact that it gets no recognition in that form of stars or whoever it is on the top is criminal.
Yeah. Well, anyway, shall we just quickly talk about the final, because it is going to be Barcelona. We're going to talk more in depth about it, but just your overall thoughts going into this, knowing that it's Barcelona.
Right. I'm excited to go. Can't wait. Atmosphere is going to be electric. The girls should be able to feed off that. But this is Barcelona. They've got a lot of talent in that locker. I'm hoping Rene is talking to Leia and talking to Mariona and getting all the little juicy tidbits we need. But I'm not expecting to win.
No.
That's me being a realist. My heart says we're going to smash it. My brain says I'm not going to get hurt again. We're not going to get it. And I sound so negative because I'm really behind Arsenal all the way. But this is Barcelona. We've seen what Bon Mati has done to Chelsea. And I do not want a scoreline of 8-2.
No.
I think we can keep it relatively low. But if we win it, I will have a whole piece of humble pie to myself.
That will be,
and I will eat it smugly.
I mean, I didn't expect us to beat Lyon, because Lyon and Lyon. Regardless.
Oh, exactly. It's like I went out there myself. I wasn't expecting us to beat it. I went there because Lyon's grounds are beautiful. The city's beautiful. The people are lovely, and it's just like, do you know what? I'm going to watch Arsenal. Let's do it.
I've been fortunate enough to go to 2 finals that Barcelona, the last 2 finals Barcelona played. They played in the last 4 finals, which just made that clear, and they've won 3 of them. And the one that didn't win was obviously against Lyon. But in the last 2 finals, when I've watched them, first halves not been great. So we just something to bear in mind. Wolfsburg went 2 goals up in that first half, and obviously it was 0-0 in last season's final. But yeah, they are an amazing team, especially in the second half of watching. They play football on another level. The game. Okay, I'm going to break my promise. I'm going to bring it up again. But in all seriousness, that Chelsea game we saw, the level that Barcelona play at is like Harlem Globetrotter stuff, and I've seen it against, I should say, I think the Wolfsburg, I think it was in the previous round in the quarterfinals. They got a double figure scoreline. They got double figures at 10-1 or 10-2 on aggregate, I think it was in the end. They are the best team in Europe. They are the reigning European champions. They're the best team in Europe. However, what I will add to that is when we last won the European Cup, the UEFA Women's Cup in 2007, the stakes were exactly the same. Umea were the best team in Europe. They had the best player. They had Marta, the best player in the world. They had the likes of Hannah Ljungberg. They had the likes of Ramona Bachmann. They were a team that had won. They had appeared in the first 3 finals and won 2 of them. In the semis and the quarters that season, they'd scored 10 plus goals in aggregate in the semis and the quarterfinals. They were streets ahead of what we were. They were fully professional, etc. But we were the underdogs. We were massive underdogs. We were not expected to win, and we did. So these things can happen. Again, like you said, Lottie, I don't think we'll win. I hope we don't get battered 4-0. But even if we do, if we lose 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, I don't care, because we've got to a final. I'd hope that I'd see this at some point in my lifetime. I didn't think it would happen this particular season, but I am going to enjoy every single minute I go out there with every person I meet. Some who I'm looking forward to meeting, haven't met in a year. Some obviously I meet quite often. Visiting a new city, never been to Lisbon before, a new stadium that I've never been to before, and I get to watch Barcelona play. And the last 2 times we played Barcelona, we've conceded 4 goals.
Most importantly, you get your own you get to see your own team in that ground.
Exactly.
You're not watching as a neutral anymore.
Yeah, although
you have to take your club's side.
I should say there is photographic evidence of me wearing a Barcelona shirt in the
Absolutely,
finals.
but it's Bon Mati shirt. It was like I was going to go regardless this year. I've got a Spain shirt sitting on my rail. I haven't worn it yet with Bon Mati's name on it. There's no way you'll catch me in a Barcelona shirt. Spain shirt, yes.
The privilege of watching Arsenal play in a final, is a European final, the biggest game in the club calendar. Regardless of result, it's a privilege to have got there from the qualifiers to the playoffs, for the group stage, and having come back again and again and again and again. There's so many times this season where I thought we were down and we've come back again. We topped the group with 5 minutes. In our group stage, we were top of the group for 5 minutes. And that was it. In the playoffs, we came back. In the semis, we came back. In the quarters, we came back. Unfortunately, in the final, there's no second leg. So we kind of had to do it in 90 minutes this time around. But whatever happens, I'm grateful for Arsenal, and I don't care if we win 5-0 or lose 5-0. It's going to be an amazing event, and just hope that the players have an amazing time.
So it's Vibes FC versus the Total Football FC.
Absolutely.
But you should, before we go, just make sure that you're following us on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. You can follow the pod at VAW Pod. Adam, where can they find you?
You can find me at Adam_Salter4 or _Salter4 on all the different Blue Skies and Twitters and Instagrams. And you can follow the Arsenal Women Archive on Twitter and Blue Sky as well. And we should just say it's May now, 1st of May at time recording, and there are a lot of cup finals coming up. And if you wanted to see how we did win the European Cup last time around in 2007, highlights of that game are on the account, so do check those out.
Lottie, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find my my wonderful away days and everything else on Instagram. I occasionally dip my toe into the wonderful world of what we call is Twitter, and I mean that with great sarcasm. Blue Sky, I'm there, but I'm not there. But yeah, Lottie_AWFC.
You can also find me at MattLR28. That is all from us. But the Arsenal are in a European final. Unbelievable. And you know what? Roses are Reds, so is North London. North London Forever is going on tour to Lisbon. And don't forget, come on, you Gunners.